Hello, everybody, and welcome to Sake Revolution. This is America's first sake podcast. I'm your host, John Puma from the Sake Notes. You also may know me from the Internet Sake Discord or Reddit's r/sake community.
And I'm your host, Timothy Sullivan. I'm a sake samurai, I'm a sake educator, as well as the founder of the Urban Sake website. And every week, John and I will be here tasting and chatting about all things sake, doing our best to make it fun and easy to understand.
Hello, Tim. Good to see you.
Hey. Hi, John. How you doing?
I'm all right.
I heard a rumor, a little birdie told me that someone is heading back to Japan. Is that true?
It is.
Oh, my God. You can't stay away, can you?
Nope. No. So we were there last autumn. Obviously, you know this because we hung out with you.
Yeah.
And we have a prior commitment this autumn, so we can't go this in this coming autumn. So the logical move is to move the trip to spring. So we're going to be going in spring in just a few short weeks, really. About a month and change.
Cherry blossom time.
I think we're going to miss them.
Oh,
but you never know. You never know.
Head up north. You'll have a better chance.
Well, unfortunately, the trip is going to be more down south. We're going to be visiting Kochi and
nice.
and Tokushima.
Wonderful.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun.
Oh, that's great. You guys love getting off the beaten path a little bit, don't you?
We do. So, the way we always do it is week one is a little off the beaten path. We'll go someplace, some other cities, hopefully discover something, and then the second week we go up to Tokyo and do the Tokyo stuff.
Yep.
Because you can explore Tokyo forever. A wise man once said that Tokyo is like 15 or 20 Manhattans, and you could never get tired of exploring it. And I think he's right. So yeah.
Well, the person who said that has obviously never tried to find a good bagel in Tokyo. I'm going to stand up for Manhattan here.
All right. No. All right, but I'm sure there are things in Tokyo that you can't get good versions of in New York.
Touche. Touche.
Yes.
All right. So I have breaking news. We are going to be starting another new series today.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, that's good. We hadn't started a new series in at least a week, so that's nice.
At least 7 days.
Yes.
Yes. So can I make the big announcement?
Oh, by all means.
Okay. So we are going to be doing a series that I have dubbed, this was kind of a working title, but it's gone into the realm of actual title. We're going to be looking at sake that has funky packaging.
Funky packaging. Okay.
Yes.
Funky packaging. So this is it. This is the funky packaging show?
This is the funky packaging series. So this is
and this is our first episode of Funky Packaging Sake Revolution.
Yes. And
that's officially what we're calling it. Funky packaging.
I'm open to other suggestions, Puma.
No. I'm happy to have you lead. I just wasn't sure where we were going with it, though. Funky packaging.
Yeah.
And I think that after we talk about what we're doing today with our inaugural funky packaging episode, our inaugural funk, I think that people will agree that funky packaging is probably the most accurate descriptor we could use.
So what's traditional packaging, first of all? What's non-funky? A bottle, right. So we're going to be focusing on sake packaged in non-traditional bottles. So things like packs and pouches and all kinds of stuff. So we have a wonderful, fun, funky package to start with. And I don't know any other way to describe this.
Please, Tim, go ahead.
Well, it looks like a juice box.
Yes, it does.
Yes.
Yes, it does.
There's a straw. It's a small rectangular Tetra Pak box. There's a straw attached to the back in a little plastic sleeve. And there's a foil little thing on the top to punch the straw through and sip out of like a juice box. I think we've all had that experience, right?
Tim, this is very much this is a juice box.
Yes, it is.
It is.
It's a juice
pulling
box.
No punches. Tim, this is so much a juice box that I'm like shocked that they're allowed to sell it.
Yes.
In the US, because it so closely resembles, a juice box for kids.
Yes. So, John, this type of packaging is what's known as a Tetra Pak. Have you heard of that before?
Just now.
Okay. So Tetra Pak can be used. You've seen it. You've seen this style of packaging for juice boxes, but have you ever seen like the milk or almond milk at the grocery store that's in this type of paper pack?
Mm-hmm. Yes, actually I have.
Yeah. So it's used for many different types of food, beverage, and Tetra Pak is one brand of this style of packaging. And I was wondering, like, I'd never even thought about Tetra Pak before. And I was wondering, like, what is it made out of? And I did a little research and went down a little rabbit hole. And it's actually very, very interesting. So the layer that is on the inside of this package, the layer that actually touches the sake, is polyethylene, which is a food safe plastic.
Okay.
And then they have a layer of paper, then another layer of polyethylene, and then in the middle is aluminum, then another aluminum, like aluminum foil.
I wasn't expecting that.
Another layer of polyethylene, and then cardboard, and then on the outside, another layer of polyethylene. So the polyethylene plastic is like the glue between the layers of cardboard, foil, and paper. So it was just like sandwiched layers that make this very food safe kind of packaging. And then, if you undo the flaps a little bit, you can see how it is like a flat.
Yeah.
It starts out flat and they sealed at both ends and then they fold down the sides to make this rectangular
to make it more
shape.
Squared off.
Yeah. So I thought that was really interesting. And apparently, if the contents, if they're pasteurized, you can keep things for a long time in this type of packaging.
Makes sense. So you mentioned that the outside is also polyethylene, and that has that it's got that like kind of waxy finish that that again you may associate with juice boxes, and all these other like you mentioned also the almond milk boxes and stuff like that. So I definitely this is a familiar. So what you're telling me is that the outside of this is equivalent to the inside of this, and that in between there's cardboard and aluminum and more of this.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Trying to keep it safe.
Yeah. So I think if we were to cut this open, you would see very thin layers of these things kind of all sandwiched together, but it allows them to make kind of a tube out of this material. And then they can seal one end, put the sake in, seal the other end, and then fold down the sides to make this rectangular shape. So it's very low weight as compared to a traditional glass bottle. So it's environmentally friendly in that way, that it's not as heavy as a glass bottle would be to transport the same amount of sake. But I think there is a little bit of a bugaboo with this.
A bugaboo?
I've read that these are not recyclable.
Oh.
Yeah.
So you think cardboard, you think recyclable, and then you find out that apparently polyethylene, cardboard, aluminum, polyethylene, cardboard in a sandwich may not be the most. Okay.
So it's a trade-off, I think.
I don't know. This glass bottle is looking better and better.
I've always heard that when it comes to like being environmentally friendly, like going more old school is always the way to go, because those glass bottles can be recycled, they can be broken down and remade into glass, and it's like a truly reusable material and it's completely food safe. But there's demand for these types of juice box Tetra Paks as well. Now, let's talk about there's a few of these Tetra Pak sakes, and we picked one that was especially cute. Right?
Did. And especially available in the US.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Which is something
Yes.
we really strive to feature.
Yes.
Because we live here.
And yes, we go for US stuff and we go for cute stuff. And we got both.
Yes. Now, this package is called Maneki Wanko, or the lucky dog character. And there's an illustration of the dog, and it says Lucky Dog Sake. And it's on like a aqua greenish background. And if you want to see a photo of the Lucky Dog Tetra Pak sake, visit sakerevolution.com. And we looked online, and we don't know a lot about the sake that's in here. But John, why don't you give us the stats that we do know about the Lucky Dog sake?
Okay, we do know that the Lucky Dog sake is a futsushu. So that's a table sake, regular sake. It is from Hyogo Prefecture. So this mystery brewery is in Hyogo Prefecture. The brewing water is Miyamizu. And Tim, we want to refresh the memories of our listeners on what Miyamizu means exactly.
Yeah, Miyamizu is the most famous water source, I think, in Japan. It's in Hyogo Prefecture, and it's used by many of the breweries in the Nada neighborhood of Hyogo. And that's where a lot of big sake brands are located. Like Hakutsuru, the biggest brewery in Japan, is located there, for example. And it is a water that's known for being higher in mineral content. So it's for the Japanese types of brewing water they have, this is considered a harder water or more mineral rich. And that generally produces a bolder style of sake.
So a bolder style sake with a sake meter value, the measure of dry to sweet, of +4, and the alcohol percentage is 13.2. So again, limited information, but that's what we've got. Yeah. Now, before we go any further, Tim.
Yes.
This label and this mascot here and the name here, the lucky dog.
Yes.
I'm not familiar with any lucky dogs.
Yes.
I am familiar with the lucky cat, seen very prominently in many Japanese establishments.
Yes.
So, what's the story with this?
Yeah. If you don't know what a lucky cat is, the Japanese term is Maneki Neko, Neko. Maneki Neko is the lucky cat. If you start looking for it, you're going to see it everywhere. It's a cat that is often a little statue of a cat that is called the beckoning cat. And usually one of the paws is either stationary and raised up, or it's bouncing up and down, and it is beckoning you into the shop. So it is a cat statue that you see all over Japan about bringing business, beckoning business into your place of work. So they're all over the place. You see them, especially in restaurants, don't you?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. They're everywhere. They're rotten with them.
Yeah. So the Maneki Wanko is a play on words, actually, from Maneki Neko. So Neko means cat, and that's the traditional one. But the Japanese word for bark, like a dog's bark, is wan, 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 wan.
Oh.
So, and then ko is a suffix for something that's diminutive or cute.
Yeah. So little bark.
Little bark. So
right.
this is lucky little bark.
Lucky little bark. I was a little concerned because when you said, Maneki Neko, and then you were like, and this one, Wanko, and I'm like, well, that's not what I know the word for dog in Japanese, and that ain't it.
Right. So this is a lucky dog play on words from the lucky cat, and it is a very cute illustration on the label. And it is a juice box, and there is a little straw in the back.
There is a little straw. It is, when we tell you this is a juice box, like there's no exaggeration. It is straight up a juice box.
Okay, before we dive into the tasting, John, I do have
Yes.
I have to ask this question. So it looks like a juice box. It has a straw like a juice box. Do you have any qualms about this appealing to kids or being like a It's a kid-friendly format. This is like what you would put in a lunchbox for your toddler to send them to preschool. What do you think about that?
I think it's a little weird, Tim.
Okay.
I think it's a little weird. I the last time I used something like this was probably at that age, and it's giving me memories, and it's not of alcohol, and it's a little strange.
Yeah.
It's just bizarre to me that this exists. I'm really happy it does because it's so strange, but it's so weird. It's just, you know what I mean? It's just so like, they made a sake juice box, did they?
Yeah.
And they sure did.
Yeah. I'll give you, I'll quote one sentence out of the promotional materials for this.
Mm-hmm.
It says, while this is an unusual format in the US, the sake juice box is very common in Japan for those eager to sip delicious nihonshu while taking a stroll in the park or a public place. And I think that is true in Japan, but in the U.S., drinking alcohol in public parks is very often like illegal. In New York, yeah. So I don't know how that translates to the U.S. market very well.
Yes.
And I'm always
alcohol being represented in child-friendly containers and also being drunk in public are two things that are frowned upon here.
With a cartoon dog on the
with a cartoon dog. God, I didn't even add that.
Yeah.
Caveat.
Yeah. So I would, we can put a pin in this and just say like, things that make you go, but it's something that occurred to me that this is not usual packaging. It's definitely funky for that reason.
Yeah, it is. But it's interesting, right? It is definitely something different. It is not something you see every day.
Yes. Now this lucky dog comes in this 180 ml juice box, but it also comes in a 900 ml like a milk carton, like a milk carton with the
right. Does it have a straw?
No straw, but it has a screw. It has the spout on the side. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like you screw off a little white cap and you pour it out. So that's a common size in Japan for cooking sake. Like you buy like a liter and it has a little screw top and the shape looks like a milk carton.
Yes, very much so.
Yeah.
Especially like the modern milk cartons that, like you mentioned, have like the screw cap on top instead of the fold out. The fold out that was common when you and I were young.
Yes. I never liked the fold out. Getting little pieces.
Were you bad at it? I found there's two types of people: people who were good at opening up that cardboard, and people who did not like that cardboard.
Well, I didn't like the taste of cardboard with my milk, so there were always little bits of cardboard. Yeah. Anyway, moving on. Now, I do want to say one last thing before we open this and get to sipping. There is actually a Lucky Dog Sake Instagram.
Oh, goodness. All right.
So the Lucky Dog character has their own Instagram profile, and there's not a lot of content there right now, but if you'd like to, you can follow Lucky Dog Sake on Instagram. We're going to tag them in this episode.
Oh, I love it. I mean, it's, we're joking around and we're having a good time with it. But in real talk, though, we do see juice boxes, sakes in Japan all the time. Right?
It is
if you go to a convenience store, it is very normal to see. It is not, we're in America, it's a little bit different. It's very like, aha, kind of thing. But there, it's very common.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think the moment of truth has arrived, JP.
Oh, yes, it has. Are you ready?
So
we're going to do it.
I'm going to remove the straw from the pouch.
All right. Ooh, that came off very easy.
Okay. And there's
I got to get it out of the... So you know how you didn't like the paper milk carton? I don't like getting the straw out of the little plastic sheath that it's in. I am very bad at that. I am struggling as we speak.
So you extend the straw. The straw kind of doubles in length. And then there is a little polyethylene thing. And the straw has... All right, here we go.
We have done it. Oh.
Okay, my straw's
Foley
in.
artist gets paid a bonus today.
Okay. All right, here we go.
Tim, I think we have to skip the aroma portion. I don't think I'm going to stick the straw up your nose. I don't know.
Okay. Yeah, we're not able to smell this. We are drinking out of a juice box with a straw.
Yes. All right, here we go.
It tastes syrupy.
Yeah.
And the aftertaste has some heat to it.
I kind of like the aftertaste. I'm not no. All things being equal, like a little less. I'm getting a little bit less of the heat that you're describing, but I mean now after the heat, after that, there's a nice little kind of slide home, and that I like. That's really nice, and I don't just like the initial flavor either. There is some heat. Which is interesting because it's only 13% alcohol. So you're really, the heat generally is you tasting the alcohol. And yeah, I mean, it kind of tastes like sake coming out of a juice box. I think that if you were like, if you're out at a park, have some like salty snacks and whatnot, this is gonna, and if you're in a country where that's legal, that is something I can totally see somebody doing and totally having a good time with it. I could see myself doing this.
This tastes like a 1 cup sake, inexpensive 1 cup sake.
Absolutely. I mean, it is that essentially. You mentioned this is 180. This is 180 milliliters?
180 ml. Yep.
That's interesting. It feels and looks so small.
Yes. If you look on the side with the barcode, it says 13.2% alcohol and by volume 180 ml.
Wow. All right. Yeah.
So this tastes very alcohol added to me. Aruten. This tastes like, there's a lot of added alcohol.
Yeah. I'm with you. I think you're absolutely there. I get a little nervous about futsushu sometimes, especially, what we get here. I think that I understand that in Japan, it's a very different story.
I will say futsushu is hit or miss.
Ooh,
for sure.
All right.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. If you have a well-crafted futsushu, even though it's alcohol added and it's not at a premium level, it can be absolutely delicious. I've had more delicious futsushu in Japan than in the US.
Yeah.
But this type of sake has a specific style to it. And I want to describe kind of some of what I'm tasting.
Please.
There's not a lot of complexity to this style of sake. I find that the pure rice flavor, like the flavor of whether it's gohyaku mangoku or whatever rice they're using, when you add a fair amount of alcohol, it kind of masks the true rice flavor to the sake. And we taste a lot of sake where we say, oh, this is like rice, this tastes like rice pudding, or this smells like a rice cooker or something like that. And I just don't get that rice forward note here. It feels like it's being covered up.
I understand what you're saying, and I agree. I will say you mentioned that like sometimes like futsushu can be hit or miss.
Yeah,
and I think this one's pretty good. It's pretty hit. For me. It's not.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, there are a lot of other futsushus.
I've had some very unfortunate experiences with other futsushu, and the fact that I'm sitting here sipping out of a juice box was I'm still kind of wrapping my head around that.
Yeah.
But I feel again, I want to have some salty snacks with this. That's my pairing notes. Like when I say salty snacks, I mean like I want like potato chips. That level of salty snacks. We're not getting fancy here. This is
not fancy, and it's not bad either. It's like it's a very serviceable futsushu sake.
Yeah.
And I think this would be very good, even colder. Like I got it out of the fridge and it's in the Tetra Pak. If you have a futsushu, I've found that sometimes over chilling it, getting it nice and cold makes it taste a little crisper on the palate. It's a little trick you can do with some futsushu sakes.
I did the same thing you did. We took our juice boxes out of the fridge before we started recording.
Yeah.
So it's kind of been sitting here for probably about like 20 minutes until we got to it. So it probably had a few minutes to catch up and get a little warmer.
Yeah. But to be honest, I feel I won't be drinking a lot of juice box sake in the future.
You're a very fancy man, Tim.
I'm very fancy. Yeah. I mean, it is fun. It's funky. It's interesting. And this is a really serviceable futsushu.
Yeah. I think you're right there. And I think that if you're, find yourself in a situation where this is what's around, you've got some fun food to go with it. I think it's gonna be a fun thing to drink. Just don't be too overt with the nice police officers when they walk by. But maybe just do this in the privacy of your own home. That might be the safest thing to do.
So, any final thoughts on Lucky Dog sake?
The dog is lucky. This is a lucky dog. I'm lucky that this turned out nice and tasty.
And you're lucky to have a new series on Sake Revolution.
I'm lucky to have a new series. I'm dying to see where this goes because, like, the first one, all right, Tim, we're doing a new series. Wonderful. What is it? So there's a juice box. I'm like, what? So I'm, I thought you were going to be like, all right, we're going to start with something that not everybody's seen, but is not the usual bottle. I was thinking maybe you start with like a 1 cup or something like that, but nope, we're right.
Nope.
We're having next week. It's Capri Sun. I don't know. Tim? Do you remember Capri Sun?
Of course.
Okay. All right.
I was not good with getting the Capri Sun. Getting the straw in is really hard.
Nobody was. No.
Okay.
And you can easily with Capri Sun overcompensate.
Yes.
And stab straight through to the other side. And then your Capri Sun juice is all over your lap and the floor. And then maybe it was just me. But,
well, I don't think that the Lucky Dog has that problem. This was easy to use and easy to get the straw in, and it's functioning very, very well. Yeah,
this is, I put that straw in. I thought I was going to get some orange juice, and I didn't.
Have you ever had that experience where you pick up a glass and you think it's milk and it's orange juice and you sip it? That's kind of where did you have that experience?
I have had that experience.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. Well, this was a lot of fun, and I think a very successful launch to our funky packaging series.
I think so.
Yes.
I cannot wait to see what else is funky out there.
All right, John, it was great to taste with you. Thank you so much for getting funky with me here with this packaging.
Oh, anytime, Tim. I love getting funky with you.
All right. All right. And a special thank you to all of our listeners. Thanks for tuning in. Do let us know what you think about this new series. We'd love to hear from you. And a special hello and thank you as well to all of our patrons. Thank you so much for supporting our show. Without you, we would not be able to make Sake Revolution happen, and we're so grateful to you. If you would like to learn more about supporting our show, please visit patreon.com/Sake Revolution to learn more.
And if you have a moment, please go and review our show on your podcast platform of choice. Get out there on Apple Podcasts, on what are people using these days? Spotify? Yeah. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcast, putting a review up, giving us a little thumbs up, a little rating. It really does help people find the show. So please go ahead and tell people what you think. We really appreciate it. So, Tim, I hope you're ready for this one. I hope you're ready for this finish.
You're not going to say raise your glass, are you?
No,
I hope
I'm not.
All right. I'm ready.
All right, Tim. Raise your cup. Nope. Raise your juice box. Remember to keep drinking sake out of a straw. And
Kampai. All right. Keeping it funky. I like that.